Hello Internet, it's me Josh, the Aging Gamer. So, about this time last year, I did a review on Mortal Kombat, and I briefly touched upon how that game was one of the titles responsible for the ESRB ratings being created in the first place. Well, what was the other game? Why, it was Night Trap. While Mortal Kombat was definitely violent, how did Night Trap compare to its gruesomeness? Spoiler, not very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look, let's review Night Trap. For those that don't know about Night Trap, no, this isn't a movie, this is a video game. Well, I guess technically it is a movie, but it's definitely a video game. There was a lot of controversy when this game was released, so before I get to the game itself, let's talk about all the hoopla that happened when it came out. Like I mentioned already, video games like Mortal Kombat and Night Trap are the reason that the United States Senate Committee got together to create the ESRB rating system for video games. It was Night Trap's ultra-violence and sexual aggression towards women that caused the game to be targeted by the committee. The problem though is that Night Trap isn't ultra-violent. There's no violence towards women, there's no sexual agendas, there's not even any blood or nudity in the game. In fact, you're supposed to save the woman from getting killed. There was one particular game over scene where we saw one of the characters dressed in a nightgown get attacked and carried away. This scene was one of the main reasons Night Trap itself was attacked. US Senator Joe Lieberman, who admitted to never even playing the game, found it to be too offensive. And such, the ESRB was created and Night Trap got a mature rating. Mature ratings don't mean much these days, but it was a pretty big deal 20-something years ago. The controversy did create some more sales for the game, but some retailers like KB toy stores and Toys R Us stopped carrying the game altogether to avoid any negative publicity from angry parents. Oddly enough, Mortal Kombat, which actually showed people getting their hearts ripped out or being impaled by spikes, never left shelves and sold like hotcakes. Personally, I think the ESRB is a great thing. I mean, movies have ratings, why not video games? It just sucks that everything with Night Trap was so overblown, but now that we got all that out of the way, let's talk about the game. What is Night Trap? Well, let's start at the beginning of the story. Some young teens have been getting invited to stay the night at a winery estate owned by the Martin family. The teens end up missing, the Martins play dumb to the police, and they refuse to have their house searched. So instead of getting a search warrant, the police send in SCAT, the Sega Control Attack Team. Yeah, Sega. They are the publishers after all. SCAT has overridden the traps and cameras that are inside the house. They are also going to infiltrate the mansion and are leaving you in charge of those cameras and traps. A new set of girls are to stay the night at the mansion, with one of them being an undercover SCAT agent. That character is named Kelly and is played by the only actress with an actual acting background. That's the late Dana Plato, who is best known for her character Kimberly from the hit sitcom Different Strokes. But unless you're past your 40s, you probably don't even know the show. Anyway, as the night goes on, strange creatures called augurs try to drain our heroes of their blood. Why drain their blood? Because the house is full of vampires! That's right, the entire Martin family are vampires. The augurs are half vampires, and everyone else is the prey. Can you use the traps to save the day?
No! How could you let this happen?
Fucking spooky, huh? Not really. This game is very much like 80s B-movie horror style. But I suppose that is exactly what the game is. Despite the game coming out in 1992, the scenes were filmed in 1987, and it looks very 80s. And that theme song I played earlier is very 80s as well. Some people might be eye-rolling at how dated the game looks and how cheesy the acting is, but that is exactly why I'm kind of drawn to it. The augurs in particular always make me laugh. So their story is that they're half vampires, or people who are attacked by vampires and left for dead, so now they have to wear these ridiculous costumes to keep their rotting flesh together, and they must feed on blood to survive. And trapping these guys throughout the game is just hilarious. It's just so damn cheesy. I mean, you set off a trap in the driveway, and you fling an augur off the roof, well, he sounds like a jet. The way they kind of hobble around and move, they're like the damn Putty Patrol from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But let's talk gameplay. You pretty much just press a button at the right time, and that's it. Yeah, there's not much to the gameplay at all. If you played the likes of Space Ace or Dragon's Lair, it's pretty similar to those titles. The gameplay can be pretty challenging though. So you, the player, are watching the entire house. There's 8 different rooms you have to watch at all times. You'll see the story unfold, or not, depending on how often you're switching the cameras. It's actually pretty interesting to see how different events unfold in different rooms at the same time. Throughout the story, those augurs will be entering through the house and you have to trap them at the right time. Once the bar at the bottom of the screen flashes red, that's your cue to hit the button to set off the trap. You don't have to trap every single one to beat the game, but you do have to get the majority or else Scat will disconnect you for being so incompetent. There's also crucial moments where you have to save the girls from getting killed, and if you miss, you lose. To throw another wrench into the gameplay, you have to change your color code when necessary. It only changes a few times throughout the story, but you gotta keep track of people talking and change your color code for what they said. If not, the traps won't go off.
Dudley, we better change that code. How about green? Sure.
So with it being an interactive movie, it really offers some unique gameplay, but is it any good? To be perfectly honest, I like the game. That's probably more due to the fact that I love those corny horror movies. The scenes themselves are just so campy, I can't help but be entertained.
The wall trap! Yeah!
The gameplay itself, like I said, is pretty different, especially from most games I've reviewed on this channel, so it was a bit refreshing to try something different. But besides all that, there are several big issues with the game. The 2 main problems being, 1, it's really short. From the opening cinematic to the credits, you're only looking at half an hour. And 2, there's not much replay value here. The only real reason to play it again is to try to get a perfect score and trap all 100 bad guys throughout the game. That's about it. If you're playing the 25th anniversary edition that came out in 2017 like I am, it does offer a bit more substance. It includes a few deleted scenes that weren't in the original game. You can also unlock all the scenes so you can watch them uninterrupted. There's some short videos talking about the creation of the game and the controversy surrounding it, and there's also a survival mode where you can just keep capturing augurs for a high score. And if you get a perfect score on the main game, you'll even unlock another game, Scene of the Crime. If you buy it digitally, it's only $15. And after then Vice President of Nintendo Howard Lincoln previously said,
I want to state that Night Trap will never appear on a Nintendo system.
I had to buy it for the Nintendo Switch. For someone like myself, I think I'm a rare case for this kind of game. I can admit, it's a bad game, but I still have fun with it. It's a guilty pleasure kind of game. I can't really recommend it to others though. It doesn't really have enough replay value or deep enough gameplay to appease the majority of gamers. A lot of people will find it boring and stupid, and I can understand where they're coming from. I'd really only recommend it though if you're looking for a cheap horror themed game to play around Halloween or so. Just be warned, if you do get the game, it's probably going to be one that just sits around in your catalog afterwards, just sitting there. But, hey, these are just my opinions. What do you guys think? You like Night Trap? You don't like Night Trap? Let me know in the comments below. Like always, I thank you guys for watching my video. I really appreciate it. If you want, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you want. That'd be really cool. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.
All right, you were perfect. Nobody's ever done that. I knew I could count on you. Thanks. You are wonderful. And next time I'm on special assignment, I'm going to insist that you back me up. I'd go anywhere with you and feel secure knowing that you were at the controls. Nah, you wouldn't.